Hello students, welcome to this session of Master Mains PYQ. We are back with another video in the series. So today we will be taking up the question that where we left. So we were discussing the governance section of your CSE 2023 GS paper 2. Right. So the question that was given to you guys yesterday was e-governance as a critical tool of governance has ushered in effectiveness, transparency and accountability in governments. What inadequacies hamper the enhancement of these features? So this was a 10 marker and you are supposed to write this in 150 words. So this was this can be categorized under the e-governance section in your syllabus. It is clearly listed out in the syllabus. Now if you look at the question very carefully, you can see that there is a context given here, right? So e-governance as a critical tool of government has ushered in effectiveness, transparency and accountability. So this is the context that has been given, and then you are being asked what inadequacies hamper the enhancement of these features, right? So this is a 10 marker. That doesn't mean that you only write about what are the features that are hampering the enhancement. The context is throwing in some important keywords. So you have to consider the context as a part of the question, right? You have to first validate that yes, indeed e-governance is a critical tool of governance and it has ushered effectiveness, transparency and accountability, right? So we will proceed in that manner. We'll first validate how e-governance is ushering effectiveness, transparency and accountability in governments, and then we will move on to in the second part that what inadequacies are hampering the enhancement of these features, right? Now this is the demand of the question that we are just discussing. Coming to the introduction, right? It's important that you write a good introduction to start with. So as far as introduction of in this question is concerned, so there are a lot of keywords, and one of the prominent keywords is e-governance, that right, it is the theme around which the question surrounds, right? And e-governance, if you analyze the last 10 years paper, it's a very repetitive theme. So recently we are witnessing a digital push as far as governance is concerned, right? It's the age of AI, web 2.0, 3.0, crypto, right? So e-governance is a very repetitive theme. Every year, alternate year, you will find there is a question in GS paper 2 pertaining to e-governance. So in the introduction, you can always choose to write a very general introduction on e-governance, right? So as far as e-governance is concerned, what do you understand by the concept? So e-governance or electronic governance, it basically refers to the use of information and communication technology tools and platforms. So it uses ICT tools and platforms, right, to enhance and streamline the delivery of government services, right? Delivery of government services, to improve the effectiveness of these services, to enhance the efficiency, to foster transparency in the processes, and also to engage, to improve the citizen participation. Right. So in short, what we can say, so basically e-governance involves the integration of digital technology with the government service to ensure that these public services are more accessible, more efficient and more responsive. So that is what we are going to write as far as e-governance is concerned. That is what you have to write in the general introduction. Now moving on, we have to move to the body section. It's a 10 marker. We will not stretch the introduction beyond 30 words. So we have to first write briefly about the context, and in the context there are 3 keywords. It is talking about that it is a critical tool. So e-governance is a critical tool in enhancing the first point that you have is effectiveness. Effectiveness in governance. So you can create a subheading beneath this, you can create a main heading and then you can create a subheading. So you have to decide how much to write. There are 3 keywords. It is talking about effectiveness, it is talking about transparency, it is talking about accountability. So you can write 2 points under each subhead. So as far as effectiveness in governance is concerned, so e-governance has led to improved service delivery. Right. So as far as the delivery of government services are concerned, e-governance has ensured that these services are delivered in a very efficient and timely manner. Because of e-governance, the need to pay a visit to the government offices has decreased significantly for a citizen. And therefore, the time taken for any particular work is the turnaround time has also reduced in the government agencies. One of the very big examples that you can take is with recent the push. The government is pushing the Digital in India initiative, right? So the government is pushing the Digital India initiative to create a very digitally empowered society as far as Indian citizens are concerned. Now, one of the components of this Digital India initiative is the Common Service Centers. Right. So these CSCs, the Common Service Centers, these are the points through which the government, the citizen can use the government services online. So some of the services that the citizens can use is utility bill payments. They can use services for birth certificates, Aadhaar enabled services, right? So this is one example that you can take for improved service delivery. The next point that you can write is enhanced productivity, right? So e-governance, use of e-governance in the administrative work, it has enhanced the efficiency and productivity. Now, as far as the automation of the administrative processes are concerned, through e-governance, of course, it has reduced much of the manual paperwork, right? It has led to streamlining of the workflows, and also it has led to minimizing of the bureaucratic delays. Now, as far as an example you can consider, because all these factors have been reduced, so this has overall led to efficiency and productivity within the government agencies. One of the very good examples that you can choose to write to substantiate this argument is the GSTN network that has been created as an entity by both promoted by both center and the state governments. So why have we created GSTN? So it is an initiative that is supposed to boost the efficiency in tax collection. GSTN, because of GSTN, the compliance amongst businesses has increased significantly. The collection of GST has also increased significantly. The citizens find it very easy to use, right? So it has also led to an enhanced productivity as far as the entire tax collection system is concerned. So this is what you can write under effectiveness in governance. Next, we will move on to the second keyword that was there, transparency. So how is e-governance fostering transparency in the process? So the next subheading that you need to create is transparency. Transparency in governance. Now, as far as transparency is concerned, transparency is reduced because is increased because of a reduced red tapeism, right? So reduced red tapeism and restriction of bureaucratic involvement in the process has led to efficiency and productivity, right? So this is something that has made both the processes efficient and transparent. One of the very good examples can be taken from the e-procurement systems that presently are functioning. E-procurement systems. For example, in India, we have the government e-marketplace. The government e-marketplace. Right. So we have GEM Right. So what is this GEM for? It facilitates the transparent and efficient use of the system to procure goods and services within the agency. So this government e-marketplace, it ensures fair competition, it leads to better price discovery and transparency in the bidding process. So it has fostered transparency as far as the bidding process, the procurement system of the government is concerned. The next point that you can highlight as far as transparency is concerned, it has led to better communication, right? We can talk about better communication, right? So because of communication is a very important aspect of transparency. So many of times what happens, the citizens are not aware, right? So e-governance has enhanced the communication in G2G, G2B, G2C service deliveries, right? So as far as the engagement, government to government, the government to business, the government to citizen areas of communication are concerned, e-governance has enhanced. And one of the examples that you can clearly highlight here is the online system for public distribution system. So we earlier had PDS, right? And with the traditional model PDS, the challenges was that most of the times the citizens are not aware whether food is available and who are the intended beneficiaries and how much allocation is allocated to them, right? So with the EPDS, food grain allocation information, the beneficiary information, the distribution, everything is being digitized. So because of this, information dissemination to the citizen has increased, and it has also plugged in the leakages, ensuring transparency in the process. So this is another example that you can take. The third point that the context was talking about is accountability in the government. Now, as far as accountability is concerned, so definitely e-governance processes has made the government agencies more accountable to the citizen. So as far as accountability is concerned, we need to talk about basically the tracking mechanisms, right? So as far as tracking mechanisms are concerned, so now there is an easy tracking system, right? So the ICT based services, they make any process very easy to target any issues that have crept in, any ambiguities that have come into the process can be corrected on a real-time basis because the information is available real-time, right? And one of the examples of this is the Pragati platform. Right. So Pragati platform is something that the PMO office uses to enable a real-time monitoring of any government project. So this makes the entire department very much accountable, right? Because all the stakeholders in the project can track the completion of the project, they can identify the bottlenecks, and whatever corrective actions are required can be taken very promptly, right? So that is something that has ushered in accountability. Next, the Aadhaar enabled services. As far as the Aadhaar enabled services are concerned, so Aadhaar has been integrated into various government services, and the Aadhaar based authentication, basically it makes the government agencies more accountable as far as service delivery is concerned, right? So that is there. An important aspect of accountability is grievance redressal. Right. So as far as the effective grievance redressal framework is concerned, so there are portals and platforms like CP Grants, right, where the government officials connect with the citizens to resolve any of their grievances. So these are the points that you can highlight in the first part. Now we will move to the second part of the question. We have to basically highlight here what are the inadequacies that hamper the enhancement of the features. So we will create the heading for the second part, the issues that hamper penetration of e-governance at present. What are the issues that are creating hurdles for e-governance penetration Right. So one of the biggest challenges as far as India is concerned is the awareness and the digital illiteracy. So there is a poor awareness amongst people, and bulk of the population is lacking digital literacy. So they digital illiteracy is a big problem as far as this e-governance is concerned. So if you look at the Indian population, there is huge digital divide, right, between men and women. Not more than 1/3 women are digitally, they have access to internet. So this creates a big problem because women are more than approximately 50% of the population, right? And most of the beneficiaries of the government schemes, they reside in rural areas where the awareness, right, is very low about these schemes through e-governance portals. Now, most of these also come from the very vulnerable section, women, elderly, SCs, STs, where literacy itself is a very big concern, right? So this is one of the points that you need to highlight. The second problem that you need to highlight here is exclusion errors. Right. So as far as the infrastructure is concerned, the infrastructure at present that we are having is not of top-notch quality. It's poor infrastructure, and many of the beneficiaries that we have seen in earlier years under the JAM, the Jan Dhan model that the government started for many of the services, right? So under the JAM Trinity model also, beneficiary identification suffered from inclusion and exclusion errors. Right, Jan Dhan Aadhaar Mobile. So if you look at the earlier examples, the fingerprint based identification system, it led to exclusion of many of the bona fide beneficiaries under the National Food Security Act of 2013. So this has been highlighted many times, that fingerprint based identification system did not work foolproof. The third point that you can highlight is the ICT infrastructure. Right. So ICT infrastructure in itself is a problem because most of the villages, they lack proper electrification, internet penetration has not been done. And one of the ways through which the government tried to resolve all this issue was through creation of the common service centers. Now, if you look at the common service centers in the far-flung areas, they have suffered from frequent closures. Not more than 1/3 are functional at this point of time, that were created in far-flung areas to penetrate e-governance there, right? The next problem on the government agency side is that they have a very poor technical proficiency. Right. So as far as the government agencies involved in delivery of these services are concerned, so there is an issue of poor technical proficiency. Right. So what happens, the government officials who are in charge of implementing these projects, they are not skilled enough to handle the technical glitches that come during execution of this project, right? So one of the problems that you can highlight here is the e-passport seva portal, which is very difficult for any government official to understand. The next problem that you need to highlight is the privacy concerns. Right. So at present, what is the problem with India? In India, we do not have any strict data privacy law. So because of no data privacy law, what is happening is that the issue of data breach, right, privacy breach, has become a real threat. And because of that, many of the people who are aware are not ready to trust the e-governance mechanisms, right? So and many examples of this is available. Aadhaar systems have been hacked many a times. You can look at this in media reports also. So these are some of the real concerns that is hampering the penetration of e-governance in the masses that you can highlight in this particular answer. Now, to conclude, you have to bring in the relevance of the ICT based governance mechanism, that is e-governance, and also you need to be forward looking that what needs to be done so that e-governance penetrates within the masses. So as far as the ICT based governance or e-governance is concerned, it is the future of governance as far as governance in the era of Web 3.0, cryptocurrency or blockchain is considered. Right now, in order to realize the full benefits of e-governance, we need to first look at India's digital divide, right, and digital literacy. These are the two parameters we need to really work on, and it is very important to ensure that these things are taken care of in the tier 2 and 3 cities in India, where it needs to be fully, the potential of these cities need to be fully realized and promoted. And given that the penetration of mobile phones in Indian masses is relatively high, there is a need for good training awareness campaigns to ensure that people are able to access these services through their phones, right? So this is how you can conclude this answer. So we will meet in another video in the next session. You can comment if you have any doubts in this session. You can comment and you can also leave a comment if you just like the video. Thank you.